welcome to another edition of SEO Intel. Today we're going to talk about content calendars that work. Same agenda as usual. We're going to talk about what that is, what's a good content calendar, what we want to do. We're going to talk about who it's for, and then why we use content calendars. So, content calendars. This is an important idea, important tool to plan out what content we'll post for a period on social media. It could be over a month, more. In the past, a while ago, we used to do like over a quarter. Like at the beginning of the year, we did January, February, March. Went really forward. These days, I think we're doing like a month at a time. There's a few ways to do it, whatever works for you. I have two screenshots here of how to do it. On the right is what I like to do, which is kind of like a list format. And then just by quickly glancing at it, I can see which week it's in. I like that more because I see more text. But previous team members have done what we see on the left, where you can see it in calendar form on Basecamp. That's also possible to really see it within time as well, if time's more important for you. For me, I want to get more words in, so I do it the style on the right. Um, but whatever works for you, you could write it out on a piece of paper. All of that's the same. To have the post ideas down. So, what is included in a good content calendar? A good content calendar will vary the post type to always show something fresh, some fresh format. So, for example, reels, carousels, graphics, pictures, etc. On the left is my real content calendar for Rainbow Club. Before I added some details, so this is like the very first draft of it, and you'll see every week I have all sorts of types going out every week. So week two we have a winner. That's a single picture, a reel, a carousel, another picture, a graphic, all sorts of things. The next week it's this similar formats, but in a different order, right? Because we don't want every Monday to be a graphic. We don't want every Wednesday to be a reel. So mixing up formats within the week is very important. Then what you would do is add some details about each post. So, for example, in for one of those reels, I wanted to do a reel about a slot machine, and I wrote just like a general guide about what the post is going to be about. So I know it's going to be a reel, it's going to be some video, some clip, and then maybe some basic idea for the concept here. It's finally Friday. Which slot are you playing at first? Right, and that's where I play with, okay, it's a Friday video, so I can play on the Friday. There's another, way I can go at this reel, and this is just very general version of what this post is going to be about. There's two reasons we want to stay really general when making content calendars. One, we don't want to spend too much time in the weeds in this stage, especially when the posts are so far in the future and subject to change. I don't want to spend 5 minutes creating the perfect copy and then I get a email from the client saying, "Oh, actually, we want to promote this more, or we don't want to mention this wording," and then I have to change it the whole way. But this way, I know just the general idea of what this post is going to be. The second reason we don't want to get too so the first reason is why we don't want to do all of it. Why we don't want to do none of it, why we want to have at least something is the second reason here. Having a general concept can allow another team member to take over if needed, which puts pressure off you as the digital marketer when you have busier weeks. And I think this is very helpful because everyone has tougher weeks, and it's much easier to hand that off if you say, "Hey, can you make this post idea for me? It's something about it being finally Friday. It's going to be a video. Can you put this post together for me?" And, someone else on the team can take over. Whereas if you gave them nothing and you said, "Okay, I want a video on Friday, October 3rd," that doesn't tell them anything. That's not as useful as it could be, right? So not too much, not too little when putting these ideas together. Another thing a good content calendar will do is balance the high performing posts with the more experimental ideas. We don't want to get stale and keep posting the same content, but we do want to post the high performers that we know are going to do well, that bring in engagement. So you want a good mix when you're putting this calendar together. So this example you see on the left, in green, I have the high performers. I know the winner post is going to do very well. Just a photo of a winner holding cash. The smiling staff carousel always does well. Collection of group photos of the staff. People really like those. And then a graphic from the signboard. You know, we do the signboards for Rainbow Club. Turning that into a graphic usually does well on social media. But I want to leave the option open to experiment. Maybe this is going to be my next high performer. Have you tried all our latest reels? And it's, yeah, I think my description was, you know, a couple clips from various slot machines. The other one, Seafood Night Reel. I don't normally do videos about their specials, or I should say, I don't put the food photos in video form, but maybe this is a new format that's going to do well. So we want to allow the strong posts in, but also give the opportunity for something new to arise, right? We want to keep seeing what works with the audience. It changes all the time, right? Another thing that a good content calendar will do is it allows multiple post opportunities to promote bigger events that allow for broader storytelling. What do I mean by this? Mentioning an event only once forces your hand to make the post about the bare essentials, the who, what, when, where, and you don't have time to give multiple perspectives on why. So this example on the left here, you see at the end of October, I know that the Rainbow Club's going to have a giveaway, and so I want to allow a couple opportunities to talk about that throughout the month so that I have different perspectives on every post. The first time I mention it on the timeline is probably going to be raw details, like it's going to be this day, do this to win. Right, it's this is the prize, sort of the bare essentials. But the next time I make a reminder in week three, I can mention, you know, this is a very interesting giveaway because it's the first time we've given this away. You know, there's other angles I can do because I've allowed for more time on the content calendar, right? Mentioning it three times in this case ensures audiences viewing the content non-chronologically have heard about it and are likely to have seen at least one hook that appeals to them, right? We do things chronologically, but social media these days is not chronological. That's not how the platforms show posts to people, not in order of what you posted, but just whatever's relevant to them. And maybe what you posted today is relevant to them and not what you posted yesterday. So you want to allow multiple opportunities to have multiple angles on the same event. And the content calendar will help you with that. If you're so focused on going through the week, or if you're going week by week, you may have forgotten, oh, I need to mention this event again this week, or I need a different perspective on this event. And the content calendar will help you allow for time to do that. Those are the elements of a good content calendar. Who is this for? It mainly benefits the coordinator primarily, as I've just described, but ultimately, a well thought out calendar can ultimately serve the mission of happy users and satisfied clients. So, primarily, it's to keep you organized, but this will create better content, which helps everyone involved, users, clients, all of the above. Why do we use this tool? On the right, I have a picture of writer's block. So preparing a well-planned content calendar can help create a diversity of post types. Talked about this earlier. You might stave off audience fatigue. Maybe they're sick of seeing the same stuff constantly. They're sick of seeing constant videos. You keep doing videos, you keep doing graphics. Let's mix it up. Content calendar can help you with that. It ensures rarer post ideas see the light of day. If we're so focused on, oh my gosh, I need to finish these three posts before Thursday, You're probably going to do whatever comes to your mind immediately, but slowing down at some earlier point allows you to experiment more. Try the rare stuff. Try the things that might be your next big post type. It's going to cut down on moments of writer's block, as we see in this painting here. And then it will also save time on overly frequent research. Research is very important to us, but we don't want to do an hour of research every day to be like, okay, what are other people posting? This is the perfect time to do the research, right? When you're putting this content calendar together, let's see what other people are doing. Okay, I have my concept. I'll revisit this in a few weeks, right? We don't want to spend too much time when we could be improving posts rather than researching. That is the why. Now, let's take a look at some review questions to make that information really go into our brains. So the first question I have is, what is not a reason we want to create content calendars? So three of these are good reasons. One of them is not a good reason. So A, ensure rarer post ideas see the light of day. B, to save time on overly frequent research. C, to cut down on moments of writer's block. Or D, to increase busy work. Toby, do you know the answer to this?
I think it's going to be D, increase busy work.
Yes, we don't want to increase busy work. That's not why we do it. It's not to waste time, it's to help us. So yeah, that's not a reason we do content calendars. Another question is, which is a suboptimal strategy in building a content calendar? So three of these are great things to do when you build the content calendar, and one of these is not a good idea. So A, diversifying post types within a week. B, writing copies a month in advance and saving graphics for the week before. C, allowing a few opportunities for experimental posts. Or D, writing a brief description of the post. So one of these is not a good idea. Maria, do you know the answer to this?
A couple could be argued, but probably B is suboptimal.
Right, yeah, that's what I had in mind, because you don't want to do it too far in advance because it's subject to change, and you don't want to procrastinate on the other part, just the week before, right? Maybe you have some pieces of that graphic ready, or the video is half done, or something like that. That's what you want when you're building the content calendar. Awesome. So now a little brainstorm. This is more open-ended. No wrong answers here. I didn't want anyone on the social team to think I was like calling them out for like doing something bad. So here are two of my content calendars. So I'm not going to be offended if we change this. What would you do to improve these content calendars? So I have an example from HopeLink and an older one from Vegas Voice. For HopeLink, Crystal, do you know what's anything we could do to improve this content calendar? For example, more detail, maybe vary the post type, anything. You're muted.
You have the variations because you have a static, a reel, and a carousel, which I like. Um, mm, Maybe more details because to know maybe what the lunch, what donor lunch you're talking about, or mm, yes, like more information about the flashback writer, the donate and 25. Like, yeah, just more details.
Right, or the stat, right? Which stat am I referring to? Yeah, totally. Right. If I were to say, "Hey, Crystal, help me with this post," I don't think you have that much to go off of. So I think including like a link to what I'm talking
Yeah.
about might help. Maybe a clip or the main video, right? I wrote a video clip here. Here's the main video, and let's use 2 minutes to 2 minute 15, right? Yeah, that's something that
I
would
do
help.
like the variation. That's perfect.
Mhm. Yeah. A little bit of everything. For Vegas, Toby, I've already called on you earlier, but since you're involved with Vegas Voice, I think you're a good call here. What's something that could improve this very old content calendar, what would you do here?
Um, hmm. I think for Vegas Voice, I think just looking at the I'm kind of stuck between the fourth and the fifth one. Mostly the fourth one, just because obviously I can't see the comment, and usually we put all of our
Mhm.
stuff in the comment. But I feel like it's like, oh, here are all the things we're planning in 2025. What if we don't have that information? I feel like it could also just be something a little bit better in this case.
Mhm.
Maybe it could just be like another clip and be like, oh, we're gonna do something later with YouTube. I don't know. I just don't.
Right, yeah, maybe that was a little vague, right? This post idea was a little vague. It's not
Yeah,
quite as helpful. I think you might have even taken over for this post. So,
I think I did.
you kind of put it in your own direction, but yeah, maybe more detail here, maybe a bigger variation of post types. I think, for that third one, check out the latest edition of the Vegas Voice. Did I do a clip? Did I do a graphic? It's kind of unclear and maybe um, depended on my whims at the time. And that's probably not a great idea because we want it to be planned. Oh, intentionally, last week we did a video. This week, let's do like a still image or something like that. So maybe more detail
Right.
would have been good here. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Toby. Um, that is all I had. Fourth, my call to action is go forth and make high quality content calendars. So hopefully you have the tools now. Moment for questions. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I just want to say thank you for not giving me that last one for Vegas Voice because I would have been stumped. So thanks for
That
giving it to
yes,
Toby.
yeah. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
I was looking at it, I was like, I knew the other ones I could probably do something, but that one I was like,
You're like, yeah, they're probably fine.
Yeah. Right.
Great job, Alex. I wanted a couple of things. One is that writer's block sure looked a lot like Christian, which I thought was kind of fun. No, I really liked this presentation, and I think it is really helpful. Do you find, or let me throw this out to everybody, if you were to give your content calendar to the client on a frequent basis, do you think that that would be good or bad, and why?
I think it would depend on the client because it's such like a general idea, maybe clients could get confused and be like, "Oh, what did you mean by this?" And then I don't want to get stuck in, "Oh, let me make the post for you." But I think yeah, for some clients, I think it's good to communicate more because maybe they think we're doing it randomly and like just the day before we created it. So, I think there's places, yeah, to share with them, and some places maybe not. It would depend.
Agreed. I agree with that statement because that was exactly going to be my answer. Depends on the client.
Well, awesome. If we don't have any more questions, I think that's all for today. Thank you for listening to me and go forth and make good content calendars.
Well done. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much,
Thank you,
Alex.
Alex.
Appreciate it.